Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about developmental disturbance of the jaws. So let's start then. So the developmental disturbance of the jaws can be are of a three type, that is agnathia, micrognathia and macrognathia. So let us see each of these one by one. So now let's see what is agnathia. So as the name is indicating, a means no, while gnathia means jaw. So there will be absence of jaws or there will be no jaw. So now let us see agnathia in detail. So it is a lethal anomaly which is characterized by hypoplasia or absence of the mandible with abnormally positioned ear. Ear will be not going to be positioned correctly. So this agnathia is having autosomal recessive mode of inheritance, and more commonly here one portion of the jaw is going to be missing. And when we talk about maxilla, one maxillary process is usually missing. And when we talk about mandible, partial absence of mandible can be seen, or either mandible on one side can be absent, or only condyle or entire ramus can be absent on one side. So in case of a unilateral absence of mandibular ramus, ear is going to be deformed or maybe absent. So why ear is deformed or absent? So the reason is during the intrauterine life, there is usually migration of neural crest to the maxillary prominence at the 4th to 5th week of gestation. So during that time, if the mandibular ramus has not formed, so there is no proper guidance for ear where it has to be formed. So because of that, ear is deformed or absent, and if it is present, it is abnormally placed. So as you can see in this picture, you can see here the mandible is absent. Because of that, there is no proper guidance, and you can see ear is formed towards the neck instead of its original position. Now next, moving forward to prognosis of this agnathia. So here the prognosis is very poor. It is usually considered as lethal malformation. So it is a very fatal condition. Now next, moving forward to micrognathia. So as the name is indicating, micro means small, gnathia means jaw. So here the small jaw is usually seen. Now next, moving forward to classification. So as you can see, micrognathia initially are of a two type, that is true micrognathia and pseudo micrognathia. True means jaws are actually in small size. So the true micrognathia is again are of a two type, that is congenital or acquired. So let us see each of these one by one. Now next, moving forward to clinical features of micrognathia. So the clinical features will going to show severe retrusion of the chin, steep mandibular angle and deficient chin button. And other clinical features can be middle third of the face is usually retarded. Here predisposing factor is usually mouth breathing. It is also associated with maldevelopment of nasal and nasopharyngeal structures. So because of maldevelopment of nasal and nasopharyngeal structures, sometimes it causes obstruction of airway as well. So you can see in first picture there is small jaw with residing chin can be seen. While you can see in second picture, tongue that is large compared to jaw and resulting in airway obstruction. Sometimes there also tongue enlargement is also associated with micrognathia, and that can also causes the obstruction of airway. Now let's come to congenital micrognathia. Congenitally means it is congenital in origin, while micrognathia means small jaws. So it is nothing but congenitally small jaw. So etiology here can be unknown, and here hereditary pattern can also be seen. So this congenital micrognathia is associated with CHD, that is congenital heart disease, Perry-Robin syndrome, congenital syphilis and Turner syndrome. So these are the associated disease or syndromes. What is acquired micrognathia? As the name is indicating, acquired means it is get acquired after the birth. So it is usually postnasal in origin. It results from disturbance in area of TMJ, and this disturbance of TMJ is occurred due to trauma, infections, or there may be ankylosis of TMJ can be seen. Now next, moving forward to what is pseudo micrognathia. Pseudo means it's not true, but it gives illusion of something. So here pseudo micro illusion of jaws can be seen. Jaw is of a normal size but positioned abnormally. So it's give illusion of smaller jaw, but actually jaws are not smaller in size. It's just the illusion of small jaw. So here abnormal positioning of jaws are due to abnormal relation of maxilla to mandible or either abnormal relation of mandible with skull. So these can be the reasons why this pseudomicrognathia is seen. Now next moving forward to what is macrognathia. So as the name is indicating, macro means large or bigger while gnathia means jaw. So here larger jaw can be seen. So in macrognathia, abnormally large jaw is seen. Here commonly one jaw is usually affected. If both jaws are involved, then it can be associated with pituitary gigantism. So in this pituitary gigantism, whole skeleton of the body are usually larger than normal. That's why they lead to macrognathia. So these macrognathia are usually associated with certain diseases. So you can see first is Paget's disease of the bone. So it can be associated with this. So what is this Paget's disease of bone? So here overgrowth of cranium, maxilla or mandible can be seen. It can also be associated with acromegaly, and we know that acromegaly is occurred due to hyperthyroidism. So here progressive enlargement of mandible is usually seen, and it also can be associated with leontiasis ossea. So it is a form of a fibrous dysplasia. There is enlargement of maxilla is usually seen. Now next moving forward to etiology of macrognathia. So it can be due to hereditary pattern, it can be due to increased height of the ramus, it can be due to increased mandibular body length, it can be due to increased gonial angle, or it may be due to decreased maxillary length. So these can be the etiologies. The other etiologies can be posterior positioning of the maxilla in relation to cranium. It can be due to prominent chin button. It can also because of varying soft tissue contours. It can also cause due to increased condylar growth. So these all are the etiology for this macrognathia. So as you can see, this is the clinical presentation for this macrognathia. So you can see here prominent chin button can be seen, mandible is very large in size and maxilla is of small size. So as this prominent chin button is not giving proper aesthetic to the patient's mouth, so there are certain surgeries are available for that. So as you can see here, so for that we do a surgery, we bisect the mandible in two portions and the middle portion is get removed, and these two portions is get joined with the help of this screw. So because of this surgery, prominent chin button problem of macrognathia can resolve. So here with this we have come to an end of this lecture. Today we have seen developmental malformation of jaws. We have seen in detail about agnathia, micrognathia and macrognathia.